okay. How can I pick up the pieces when everything breaks with every day? I'm getting older, I feel the weight upon my shoulders. I'm strong enough, I'll rise above. It's all gonna be okay. If I can be anything, I think I'm gonna be me. I know I gotta be me. Nowhere else I wanna go, no one else I'd rather be. I think I'm gonna be me. I think I'm gonna be me. Everything's changing, just trying to navigate. Oh, I keep on believing I'm gonna find my way with every day. I'm getting older, I feel the weight upon my shoulders. I'm strong enough, I'll rise above. It's all gonna be okay. If I can be anything, I think I'm gonna be me. I know I gotta be me. Nowhere else I wanna go, no one else I'd rather be. I think I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be me. I think I'm gonna be me, me, me. I know I gotta be me, me, me. 'Cause nowhere else I wanna go, no one else I'd rather be. I think I'm gonna be me. I know I gotta be me, me, me. 'Cause nowhere else I wanna go, no one else I'd rather be. I think I'm gonna be me. I think I'm gonna be me.
Hello. It's What Up Wednesday. I'm Keely Dunn, and you're the third team, and you're also very patient. Thank you very much. I understand that there are video problems. It's something to do. I think my bus was overloaded, so I've switched. It's not about connection, it's about the video signal coming through into my software. That's only the second problem that I've had so far. So I've actually turned off one of my monitors to see if that helps. But that's not good because I got a skill session to share later, and I I need my stuff. Hang on. Yeah, because I switched bus. I switched bus. Sometimes things are not powered up the way that you think that they are. Let's see if I can run the monitor from the other side of the MacBook Pro. This could be deadly though. Let's find out. Do. Let's keep an eye on it. I mean, I don't really need it. I could go off. And of course, it's this is great. You guys, look, I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, this is it. This is it. I have so much time to prepare for the show. There are no excuses. I went through a full run through. I got everything that I wanted done. Everything was tested. I'm like, this is it. I'm going to nail it. And then what happens? For whatever reason, Ecamm couldn't start the stream. And I need help. I need help. Okay, arrange. That's the one. This one needs to go over here. This is fun, everybody. It's so quiet because I don't have any music playing, and I'm getting really, really paranoid about what's going on. Okay. Why can't I just select that monitor? Okay, standard 90. Okay, let's see. I think I might be ready. Hi. Did you know that the Olympics are starting in a couple days? They are. We're gonna talk about that and what we're gonna do with FH Empires and so much more in a little bit, but here are our topics for today, ladies and gentlemen. I can't even see it. I know 5 meat infringements was the second one. Oh yeah, Descent was the first one. How about some aerials? Because why not? And we're gonna talk about the shootout competition. If I can keep my shit together. Look, I couldn't even think of a replacement word. My ish together. There you go. Good to see so many people hanging out in the chat. Let's see. William's here, and it's just never going to be the right. It's just never going to be in the right place. Okay, I think I can get the camera switcher off now. Oh, trust me, I had to do a whole reboot of the computer. I mean, what's the big deal? No problem. We're gonna miss Rachel. It's not gonna be the same without her drinking her wine at home. And I would love to have some hold music. That would be really cool. But you all know my GIF. Hold, please. It's my favorite. I need that somewhere else. Let's see. Richard is watching from the hockey pitch. That is a great place to be watching from. Dennis does that all the time, actually. Anik, good to see you. Can you get rid of the extra heart button in the bottom of the chat? It's in the way. That's a YouTube interface thing. I don't know. It's hard to say, hard for me to say, and I'm glad everybody's all set. The Vries are here, and Stain is here, and let's see. There's something. Jazz! Oh my god! Hold the phone! Where? Hi. I am so glad that you're doing under 18s. This is fabulous. Everybody, this is Jazz, one of my Giselle, one of my favorite people in the world. And he and Jamal and Ali, who else on the third team's there? If anybody else, but they're out there doing their thing at under 18 nationals, and I'm not there, Giselle, because you know what I'm doing in 2 days, 3 days, 2 days? Close. Anyway, we went through our topics, right? Okay. So we're just going to get into it now. Managing Descent. Have a look at this tasty treat.
Here comes Spain again. That's really ordinary defending there. It's going to be a penalty corner, but it's going to be a card as well.
I heard about the broken arm. I have to send him a note. But yes, and I would have loved to see you too. It's been too long. Next time. And Scott Riley's here. Okay. Friends, look, I want to fully disclose my emotional state after I saw this play. It was one of absolute jubilation. Not because I like players getting cards. That's not it. What I am so happy about is that Alex has been, peripherally and very quietly, doesn't spend a lot of time, but he is part of our third team. And I've known him for a number of years. He's an awesome person, and I know how hard he's worked and how much he's struggled to get all the pieces together so that when he comes to a big tournament, and this is a big tournament, folks, being a neutral umpire at the European Under 21s is a big deal. I did in 2006, but it really, I had no idea how great it was until probably years later. And I looked back on it, I thought, wow, that is fabulous. And from the first game that he stepped on the pitch, I was like, B's going to nail it. I can tell he's got this. Feds is going to kill this tournament because of all the pieces that I saw with presentation and mobility and interventions. And this is, for me, just a beautiful example of doing the right thing in the moment and knowing what you're going to do before it's even happened. It's just amazing. So, I mean, go ahead and vote in the poll. I don't care what you think because I know what I think. I think this is just a oops. Oops. That wasn't supposed to happen. You know, when your buttons are programmed to do what they do, but you forget they're going to do that? Anyway, this is how I feel.
How you like that?
That's how good it was. Okay. Um, it's just never going to be perfect. Doing the live stream is just like umpiring. So now that you had a chance to watch it through a few times, I'll give you the Coles notes of what we are looking at a little bit. Okay, so you can have a gander. But this is the first moment that is very, very important. The moment during which this defender decides that her left foot needs to go back into the line of the ball and stop the play and break it down. But that's not all, friends, because the attacker, who was, I think, going to be on the receiving end of the pass, runs straight up to Alex and is waving her hand like this. And it should be very clear from Alex's body language that that's exactly what he's penalizing. So he's got his arm out, he's ready to call the penalty corner, and he calls the penalty corner before the players even looked up, and he's stopping time as the player's running towards him going like this. If she had just taken a hot minute, just a hot second, oops. And this is why I don't like to go to this scene, because I lose track. If she had just taken a hot second to look up, she would have seen that this umpire knows what he's doing. And he was all over it. And from what I understand, just rumor has it, no idea how this possibly could have came to my ears, but this player was warned about doing this earlier in the game. Now, I had the question from a couple people in the watch party who said, well, Keely, are we allowed to card for this? Are we allowed to card for diving? Are we allowed to card for, a variety of things? And the answer is yes. Yes, we are. It's about misconduct. Now, I don't want you to get into your head that you're going to card players for looking at you askance or swearing, quietly at each other, or asking you a question in a slightly aggrieved tone, but without any real venom behind it. We have to be better than that, and we have to understand what impacts the integrity of the game. And this is exactly the kind of thing that we do not want in our sport. Not in our sport, because you might remember this gentleman. That's not the game that he said it in, unless he said it in more games. But I figured the GIF I'd get away with on YouTube, but I didn't want to actually pull the clip of him when he says, if you ask for anything else, you will take no further part in this game, or something like that. That's one of his phrases. And he says, "This is not soccer." Nigel Owens, you bloody legend. And we need to be on top of this. We do not want to get on the slippery slope between, to head in the direction of sports that are not ours. So there you go. Interesting and extremely excellent. I know that was about to come out. What was gonna come out. And Use Hockey 115, do I know who you are? You might be new. Here, let me ring the air horn. I just like to do this when I'm excited, and new people, make me excited. So Um, if anybody has any questions about this play, I'm not sure if there's anything else that I would want to explain or go through. I just really hope that everybody sees the merit in taking a stand. And this was a big game. This game put Spain into the semifinals and Belgium into Pool C. And trust, if you don't understand how big of a deal that is, like this was just, I don't want to say it was everything, but these moving day games are the biggest games of the tournament because this is the last stab for teams to make their dreams of qualifying for the Junior World Cup, to strive for the gold medal. This is it. So moving day has to be we have to be elevating our performance, our standards, our accuracy, our management on that day. And we have to be ready for the things that we're going to see like this. Like this. Right. Anna, it is a pleasure to see you. And I think meet you. Have you been around before? You probably have because you're saying hello to everybody. But welcome back. It's nice. It's very nice to have you on board. And let's see. It seems like everybody's like clear on that. Nobody's like giving me the or looking for some other remedy. So there you go. No disadvantage. Why did he not allow advantage, then deal with the misconduct after the play breaks down? Because, okay, great. I'm glad you asked this question because now I have something to talk about. Because that is an intentional foul. So he knows that that sticking out of the foot it is an intentional playing the ball with the body, and the result should be a penalty corner. He does not want to wait to see what happens when the ball gets in the circle or doesn't get in the circle. He wants to give the best result to the team that has been offended against. And that is a penalty corner immediately. Just because possession exists doesn't mean that advantage exists. You need options. You need a better opportunity than what a penalty corner in that moment provides. And that's not it. That's dribbling down to the back line after the ball's pathway has been disrupted and you're trying to pick it up on the move, but the pace isn't the same. That is not as good as a penalty corner. Not even close. So not only, and I'm sure you've seen it by now, but he's giving the card to the player who's come and asked for it, but he was going to give the yellow card to the defender regardless anyway. That was already coming out because he blows the corner and he's going for time before the attackers even come and run at him. So I hope that's clear. Oh, no way. No way. First of all, like even without me knowing this, Sarah, he had already warned her during the game because she was doing this. But that is a very overt form of dissent. And it has no place in our game. And a green card is exactly what needs to happen. That is not harsh whatsoever. This is international hockey. You know, you might deal with juniors a little differently or inexperienced seniors, but I don't know. But would you? So the green was for the gesture and the yellow for the back shot. No. The yellow card was given to the defender who stuck her foot out and intentionally stopped the ball with her body. Here's the question. Samantha, do I think this should be applied to younger players like down to under 13 to teach players that this is not on? Obviously, maybe the card could be diluted to a green. No, it is a green for the... Sorry, I guess I didn't have this all clear. No. This is absolutely correct. This is 3 minutes and 13 seconds left in a tie game in a pool deciding match, whether one team goes through to semifinal or not. And it is absolutely flat out, no question about it. She sticks out her left foot to stop that ball. No question about it. That is not harsh. That is absolutely the correct call. And this is where we need to be adjusting our decision making to penalize the things that impact the game and reset the things that have been taken away. And giving cards is our means to do it. And it doesn't mean that you give cards for things that don't impact the game. I don't want you to be just awarding them for nothingness, but this is a big deal. Okay. Let's see. No, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Sorry, I thought that was pretty clear. And the reason that I, you know, slowed that down so you could see there. You can see him calling. I mean, what else is he calling a penalty corner for? For a foul outside the circle. There's nothing else. So what else could it be? It has to be an intentional foul. So it has to be the sticking out of the foot. So it has to be. Yep. I'll hold on for another couple seconds and maybe try to fill this in just in case anybody wants to change their votes on the poll. I'm just kidding. You know that the poll is an exercise for us to have a chance to try to make a flash decision and then evaluate our reasons afterwards. So, and a good morning of the Thursday to you, Mr. Mackney. And Richard, you fully agree with the umpire. High impact due to location, PC and y'all. Yeah. What happened to option E? Change from, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Yes, crucial time, high impact in this game. And there hadn't been a lot of cards before this point, but there had been greens. I can go back and look at the notes, but I mean, there was the management of this game really was quite good. And in many of the games at this championship, the early intervention opportunities, when they were there, were taken. When they weren't taken, the games went to shit. But when they were taken, things went well. It's that whole tournament was a really good case study in management. And yeah, okay, let's have a look at the poll and see what everybody is thinking. I swear, I did this an hour ago. 1 hour. I might as well just not even worry about it and just know what's going to happen. Okay, and apparently we're going to start at the end instead of starting at the beginning. Okay, managing dissent. Okay, look, 80% were on board with that. Option E, penalty corner, yellow card attack, and yellow card to the defender. Oh, 2 people wanted to see a yellow for that. Now, see, that's where I would say that's more. That's more. So, you know, Sarah was wondering if a green card is too harsh. But to me, it's the perfect remedy there. You still have the resetting of the putting back of the foul that took away, that impacted a beautiful opportunity for the attacking team. But you shave 2 minutes off that advantage because of the dissent. So there you go. And nobody voted for 3 penalty strokes. See, that's what happens when Fraser isn't here live. But there you go. And let's see, Richard is watching a 14-year-old umpire being assessed. That's lovely. I wish them all the best and bring them into the server because that's what we need to do. Okay. Do I have announcements? Yeah, I do. I have some announcements because first of all, we have some new green team members. This fine human being, hang on, where's my Firthy has joined up from Australia and we're already having a blast together. I'm so excited that we have a Masters World Cup umpire, adding to many of the others like Shane and Steven and many others. Sorry, it's like your name's right in front of me and I can't read. and so many others who I've had the pleasure of working with recently. But the more that we can get this is what I love about umpire education, is that it's for all of us. We all get to improve. It doesn't matter what stage of our careers we're at, how, what age we're at. We all have room to grow and change and move with the game. So I'm very excited to have Firthy on board. And also, oh man, I'm really struggling. Mark Greenfield from New Zealand. Does Stephen, Shane, do you two know this person? Mark's joined. I don't have a picture of him yet because he didn't add me to Facebook, and he didn't have any photos that worked out. Yes, I plunder people's social media. That's why it's called social media, because we can do those things. Right. But that means I'm all over the place. I've just been totally thrown off by all these tech problems. If you're wondering what all this third team action is about, this is the QR code here. You're gonna want to get on board before Saturday midnight GMT. I'm just saying, Saturday midnight GMT. For $17 US a month, you can join in all of the discussions that we have and all the mentoring that we do, and group debriefings and watch parties and all those things, and watch parties and the watch parties. So there you go. Yeah, that should do. Sarah, just trying to cipher this. There isn't. It was the yellow card versus the green card for the defender. The defender got a green card, so that option existed. I hope that's clear. I hope so. There's only 18 people in New Zealand. Yeah, that's pretty much what was my count. I mean, I took my socks off, and I was doing this, and I didn't run out. So there you go. Okay. I think I'll leave that. I'll leave that for now. It's going to get better, folks. I just got to be me. Here we go. 5-meter infringements, folks. Also from all these clips are from the European Under 21
Buckins, watch that come down out of the dark blue sky.
And as always, please have a look and try to vote in the poll as quickly as you can. There wasn't a yellow card to defender and green card to attacker option. Yeah, because I wouldn't. Okay. It's hard. You can always add your own though. That's well, not always, but I usually allow people to add their own options, so you can always fill that in if I've missed something. But 14 options, I figured I had them covered. I figured they were there. So, this is the Netherlands Germany semi-final. And what stage of the game was that? My massive noggin is blocking the time of the game. But oh, I can't pull it. I can't pull it. It's 3:46 somewhere. Q3. Okay. And the reason that I pulled this out, that I thought it was such a good clip to watch, is because this is sometimes we have difficulty discerning on a free hit when a defender is allowed to run alongside, and whether that running alongside is considered channeling or influencing the play. And this is a really good example of what is influencing the play. Because what the defender does in backing up from this sideline ball is, although he is backing away directly into the hotline. which is the terminology I learned in the FIH Academy coaching courses that all the coaches like to use. So I'm using coach player terminology here. The hotline is the best and shortest, straightest directionality angle between where the ball is and where the goal is. And that where he is right now is absolutely hotline. And he makes sure he stays just in front so that this attacker has to go further away from the goal. If he had paused even 2 steps and not taken away that hotline to the net, to the goal, then he could have re-engaged after the 5 meters had run out, if that helps. Snap. Well, I hope that's a good snap. I hope that is an excellent snap. I'm here for any questions, any other comments, so I will wait, but I thought this was, I mean, I can go vote in the poll myself. I thought it was a fabulous call. Do I have Discord open? No, I closed it because I was concerned with how things were how things were going with the stream. So I started closing everything off and panicking. Because that's exactly what you should do when a stream is struggling, is panic. When you're having tech issues, make sure that you freak out. And now I got my run of show back up. Okay. Good work. Okay. Looks like everybody's chill with this one, which is excellent. Okay. Let me just have a quick peekaboo at the poll. And 3 people wanted to play on. I'd love to hear from you. If you voted play on at first, I'd love to hear why so that we can talk about it in more detail. Let's go back to this. Oh, no, I'm gonna do this until I queue it up. 2A. So what we're looking at here, let me get my noggin out of the way. Barely, Alex, barely. But the hotline to the goal is like this. Okay. And that's exactly the line that the German defender stays in. Okay. And as they're moving, sorry, I just want to get this moving even a little more slowly. Okay. And he makes sure that he's staying in that hotline as the attacker is pushed this way. Does that make sense? But let me know. Let me know if that doesn't make sense to you. Because I would love to help. You sometimes get but I didn't play the ball when you've had a similar situation. Absolutely. And that's why it's really important for us to talk about these things with players and coaches in terms of what is taken away space-wise, because it's not just playing the ball, it's whether that player can make the pass or run in the direction that is most appealing to them. And if that very appealing passing lane, if that great running line is being taken away by a player who should not be there because they've been caught within the 5 meters, that's still an offense. I hope that helps. Good to see you, Matt. Yeah. And yeah, that's hard. That's hard. But this is how we articulate it. And keep using the words, but you influenced the play. You channeled him to the outside. You channeled him away from the hotline. And Paul, what is the what is the rule that covers this? Let's go have a look. A looky see. should be the conduct of the free hit. Do 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 do. Okay, here it is. It is B of 13.2. Opponents must be at least, whoops, 5 meters away from the ball. Well, that's not going to work either. The opponents must be at least 5 meters away from the ball. Sorry, I'd circle it for you, but I can't. If an opponent's within 5 meters, they must not interfere with the taking the free hit or must not attempt to play the ball. This player is not playing the ball, attempting the ball, or influencing play. The free hit need not be delayed. Okay, that is the rule. Hope that helps. And I will go back to this. Okay. Any other questions? I feel like I need to wait. I feel like you need to wait. So what had the defender had to do to defend his goal? Defender never says, okay, go on to the goal. His trainer wants to defend the hotline, but he's caught within 5 meters. So he's not entitled to defend the goal from within that 5 meters. He can't. He has to step aside. Otherwise, he's breaking the rules. That's it. So it's simple in that regard. And I mean, in this situation, would I, as a coach, be happier with that defender breaking that down? I mean, no. I think that you've got a sweeper who's ready to step up onto the player who could have been released by the second defender who could have then stepped up and made the tackle. And the first defender can step out of the hotline and then get back. And we'll see a good example of that happening in the very next clip. So defenders who don't have eyes in the back of their head and don't have their teammates talking to them and saying, leave it, I got it, step back, cover me, then this is what happens. He doesn't have to stop. He could run, but he can't interfere with the channel. He can't. So he can run. He doesn't have to stop, but he has to allow that player to go directly towards the goal if that's where he chooses to go. Right on. Thank you, Ingrid. It's nice to have a little bit of endorsement. Maybe you didn't mean it like right on, but I'm going to take it that way. In fact, I need a GIF or something or a sound effect that goes right on, because that makes it fun. Okay, let's go into the second clip so that we can have a look at maybe a bit of a slightly different situation where we see a second defender coming into play.
Counter here, running the ball quickly towards that Belgian circle. We're into the last 4 minutes. And that's going to be a penalty corner. Signal came from this side and
And Samantha, this is a really good point about proactivity in many lower levels. Absolutely. To be able to coach the players and say to them, you're not 5, you're okay, that sort of thing. You're telling them what you're seeing. You're not telling them, not to tackle or to tackle. You're just saying not 5, okay. Or even when you say leave it, you're still, you're not, you're being proactive about them not breaking a rule. And that proactivity creates more flow in the game. Attackers want that. They don't want to be stopped. They want to be able to flow through to the goal. They want that player to not infringe on their space and take away their options when they've been caught. That's why the free hit is so powerful and the self pass is so powerful if we umpire it correctly. So this is this is one that sort of moves in a different direction, and there's a few compounding factors that go into this, and I want to dissect all of it. So for Steven, you're saying you can see the stick roll over the ball right where the infringement happened, signaling where the 5 meters started. Meaning that the static defender was at within 5. For Stain, you like the play on for the second one. The first defender did not interfere. Right. So that's one thing that I wanted you to notice, which is that the first defender they didn't have to stop dead, but they moved out of the hotline because the second defender was in the hotline. Okay, so the first defender moved out of that line, and they're entitled to do that. They don't have to like stop necessarily. Right? She's making the best effort. It's very subtle. And this is the problem here, Paul, was it a free hit or a sideline? A free hit was called. And the question is whether the player took it as a sideline ball or took it as a free hit where the infringement occurred. So for Steven, when he said earlier, you can see the quick stick roll over the ball where the infringement happened. I think that's possible, but it's tough. So when I look at this, and I'm going to slow down the slow-mo even, okay? So the player retrieves the ball from off the sideline. Oh, this is going even slower than humanly possible. Okay, so if it's a sideline ball that she has taken as a fluid, like this is where the ball is, then this is the first defender, okay, which is fine. Here is the second defender. So this first defender is going to move out of this hotline, and that second defender is there. And she doesn't approach anywhere closer to the ball and just moves into the hotline. So this, Steven, is the point at which you are seeing an indication of where the free hit is taken. And if that's the case, then that distance is not 5 meters. I think that's pretty tough. I think it's possible, but it's pretty tough. When we watch it in full motion, again, watch it right from the beginning. Okay, at full speed. Yeah. It looks more like it now that I'm looking for that motion. Let's see what y'all all say. From the moment she played on self-pass, the stationary defender was 5 meters. It depends. Well, as I just went through the diagramming, it's there. And I did, so I hope that helps. Samantha, she retrieves, shows the quick stick over the ball from where the infringement took place, and then she plays the quick ball. Yep. And that's what you're here for, is to throw things out for discussion. And you don't think the attacker tried to stop the ball. I think that's a good effort, because remember, the point is that we're looking for knowing from where the free hit is taken. Where is the 5 meters? We're not looking for the players to have to stop the ball. We're looking for them to show us from where it's taken, and we're not trying to slow them down. The point is not to bring them to a halt. The point is to show everybody where the free hit is taken. And Sarah, you don't see the foul for the well, with the Spanish player on the ground, the Spanish attacker, there was a stick obstruction slash whatever, and that's where the free hit was awarded. You don't see the umpire calling it. But here, let me play the full video again so you can
Counter
hear.
here. Running the ball quickly towards that Belgian circle. We're into the last 4 minutes.
And she does change
And
her
that's
pace
going to be a penalty corner.
as well.
Signal came from this side, and
It's not very clear, except the whistle goes before the ball's gone out on the sideline, so it's a free hit. It's difficult. It's right it's right close to the line, because initially, like when I watch it in the slow-mo and the frames are a little jittery, it looks more fluid than what it looks like when you actually play it in full motion. Because when you play it in full motion like this, you actually see the player kind of stopping. And Shane, you're going to stick with the penalty corner. You agree with Steven? And at the end of the day, when you see as this play unfolds, you're going to see the supporting umpire coming up, and you're going to see where he is watching this whole play from, because you see his arm coming into the picture. Eventually, it takes a while. Oh, maybe it's only in the full frame, because when I zoom in, you don't see it. Okay, there you can see him right there. So he's got a decent angle to see it. I'd like to see him more inside. Just like I'd like to see almost every one of these umpires at this tournament more inside, because they did spend a lot of time in the train tracks or out on the sideline. Almost all of them. So Alex, if it's not clear for you where the free hit is taken from, you could reset it. You could, at this stage of the game, and we are now at like 2 minutes left in a tie game. This is the same game as the first clip that we covered with the descent. So this is like less than a minute later that this happens. Another, like things are coming thick and fast here. And would you reset? Would you give the attack another opportunity here? It depends on what's happened for the rest of the game. It depends on the level that you're umpiring at. At this international level, if a player clearly takes a rolling ball and doesn't show you from where it's stopping, reversing that hit is completely fine. In fact, especially if they've done it before in the game, I would encourage it. Giving them the ability to retake it, not there. Okay. No, it's for the stick obstruction, I believe. If you don't hear the whistle for the free hit, I promise you it's in there. So I don't know if I can turn it up any higher.
counter here. Running the ball quickly towards that Belgian circle. We're into the last 4 minutes.
Did that help?
And that's going to be a penalty corner. Signal came this side, and
Blow anybody's ears out with this. The penalty was for the stick check, yeah, before she fell. And that's okay. If that's how you see it, that's fine. It's very close. The ball hit the second red player's hand away. Anyway, no, so Jonathan, that's a really good question to ask because how we layer, in what order do we address the fouls is really important. That's going to come up later in this show as well. So if the ball hit the red player's hand anyway, if it's the hand on the stick, that's not a foul. But the first offense is her being within 5 meters, if she is indeed within 5 meters. So if you're happy that this is where the ball is the free hit is taken from, she is within 5 meters there. Okay? So you take that into account first before any effect of the ball played by the defender. But if it hits her hand's part of the stick. If it hits her body, or if her hand is not on her stick and she stops it out of the air, let me just make sure that's not what happens. Oh, she pops it up off the stick and pops it into her own body. That would be a foul, anyway, but just could be a free hit, for there. You would have allowed play on and then a free hit for the ball coming up off the defender's stick. Why? Why? I need to hear the reasoning for that. Martin, good to see you. I know I said that wrong. It all happens quickly, but what about the red player charging towards the supporting umpire? There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on in this game. And so now you can sort of get more of a sense. Now we've looked at a couple clips from this game. And if you're looking at, the player getting green for that, it's not the first time that the players have been reacting a lot. So it definitely wasn't a problem to send that player off with the green. It didn't look like it was stopped on the side or inside, regardless of whether it was a sideline or a free hit. But so the way that umpires have been interpreting and applying the sideline free hit, yes, the free hit rules apply to when it's a sideline ball. But what we have is this distinguishing factor of knowing exactly where the sideline ball is taken from. So we know where 5 meters is by virtue of the fact there's a line there. And I talked about this in my Umpiring Rhapsody presentation that I did, on my UK tour back in September, that as long as it doesn't disadvantage any players who are caught in there, why do we need them to stop the ball? Because we know where the ball is being taken from. We know where the 5 meters is. And if it's a sideline ball, which it's not, but if it were a sideline ball, the second defender is 5 meters away, so it's fine. You would just let that go. Let it go for the purposes of flow. Samantha, you do like the communication, hardball inside, and then the upgrade from the other umpire. You wish there was more common at lower type matches. Yeah. And this is something that should be part of your pre-match preparation as well. You should be talking through this. Okay, if you give a hard blow in my 23 for something that I haven't seen or perceived, I will pick that up into a penalty corner. These umpires also have the benefit of being on radios. So it could have been in the blow, and then the supporting umpire may have said PC over the radio. That could have happened as well, which is pretty common. Okay. It was the left hand. Sustained. Yeah, if it's the left hand's on the stick, so that's not a foul. Right? Let me know if you need me to go through the rule on that, but I've done a ton of clips on What Up Wednesday streams showing that the hand is part of the stick. And I mean, just pull out the rules and it's in there. Okay. Hi, DJ. Good to see you again. The attacker made an attempt to stop the ball. The defender should have worked out what was going on. The attacker ran directly into a flat stick. Yeah, it's really subtle, and so this is about whether you, in the moment, perceive it. If it's clear to you that she's made a show of where the ball is being taken from, and there's a change of direction of that ball, and a change of speed that is a lot actually more apparent when you watch it in full speed than it is in slow-mo, then you're going to call a 5-meter infringement on the second defender, not the first. And the complications come in because when there are a number of players around the ball, and there's a lot of players around the ball, you've got an attacker who's getting herself off the ground because she's tripped, or just she's tripped on her own or has been tripped, and she's in the picture, which is something that you could talk about, but you would dismiss as being immaterial. She's clearly not part of the play. We're not gonna consider that a 5-meter infringement by attackers within um in on the free hit. But then you've got the two defenders, and what is difficult to sort out, and you have to be very good at concentrating on this, is when there are a number of players around the ball, that as soon as you blow that free hit, which was blown in this case, who's caught and cannot interfere, who is outside 5 and can. And in this case, if you're happy with that spot, then it's up to that second defender to have moved 5 meters away from where the infringement actually occurred. And I think the problem is that perhaps, I mean, maybe the second defender didn't realize that it was a free hit and thought it was a sideline ball and that she was fully away from that. But she does look to the umpire. She does look at him. So maybe she's aware. This poll should be really interesting. Y'all are probably into this. And let's see. Okay, so that was the last poll, and here we go. Play on for 6 of you, and 6 of you want the penalty corner. And a free hit defense from Sarah. Why did you want a free hit defense? What was the foul by the attacker? Or was it because you wanted it reversed because it wasn't shown? That is an a possible alternative. That's how you're saying. The attacker's self pass starts for you when they start accelerating with the ball. The defenders and 5. Okay, I don't know if you came in late, so I'm happy just to show this piece again. It's here at this moment. Okay, that is where she shows. If you believe that's clear enough, if that's clear enough for you in the moment, and your perception is going to be when you're on the pitch, it's going to look different than it looks on the camera because this is really, really close to the line. Viv, you're going with a PC, but an arm that didn't hold the stick. Yeah, and that's not a problem. There's no manufactured foul rule in the book. All right. Well, that was really interesting. And Stephen, I want to thank you for raising the point that you did, because for me, I had been looking at this clip very intently in slow motion. Because that's what happens when you edit clips. You're looking for, am I framing this right? I've got the zoom going and I'm trying to sharpen the image so it actually comes across, because these pictures were really, really not very good. And so that was something that wasn't really evident to me. And now that I've seen it, I'm like, yeah, that's very possible. Okay. Free defense because the attacker doesn't stop the ball for the free hit. How is it? Yeah, okay, that's fine. If that's what you want to see, then that's what you want to see. And let's see. Oh, there's lots more comments here. Would you use the double beep short to say where the ball has to be taken? You could. You could. when you watch it in real time, though, it does go so incredibly fast. At the moment, the ball that passes the sideline in order to say that it's inside. Yeah, that's a difficult one. It's possible. It's a good strategy generally in a lot of times. In this particular scenario, maybe. Maybe. That's all I can say about that. Absolutely, because there's like 2 minutes left in the game, and it's a tie game at this point, so they wanna go. You need to look at the change of pace to know the attacker took the free hit. Change of pace of the ball, not of the player. Okay, um, that's gonna be the thing. Okay? Well, that was really, really cool and a good discussion. I enjoyed that. Hopefully that was there you go. Um, Steven, double peep disadvantage the attacker by preventing the quick free hit. Yeah, that's where you have to be mindful of, is my proactivity actually going to get in the way of the game? When you're double peeping, it's usually because the player, like, it depends. It depends on where, when, how early you do it. If you do it too late, Steven, it's not going to help. If you do it really early and you point inside, then that would make it very clear. So, I hope that helps. It's a good point, but that's why whistle timing is so crucial. And whistle timing has to be great with your proactive stuff as well. Otherwise, it's not proactive, it's actually interfering. DJ, you'd be really pleased as a coach that your attacker has understood the assignment and exploited them very well. Yeah, it's smart play. It is absolutely smart play. And it's a great clip. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so did you know the Olympics are starting in a few days? This is what's happening in the Discord server. Okay. 3 years ago, I learned a very valuable lesson. The IOC knows everything that's going on the YouTubes, and I didn't even process this, and I was sort of hoping that it wouldn't be an issue at the time. I'm very aware of copyright law, and I have litigated copyright issues in the past. But the IOC is not somebody that you can reason with. They have the deepest pockets of the deep pockets. So if I were going to try to take them on in order to express my fair use rights, I would run out of money very quickly. So I was doing my very first Talking Tokyo, and I think we were about 45 minutes in, and the stream just went, and it probably did the whole like into a circle and like the black, and the dot of the color, and it just poof. Yeah. Oh, I changed the focus. And yeah, it was a little traumatic, and I realized that future Talking Tokyos would need to take place in the Discord server, but have no fear. It's a very similar experience to being out here on YouTube. It does mean though that you have to join the Discord server. So if you haven't joined yet, that is the QR code. That is the QR code to have a look. We are going to be holding all of the Parlay de Paris in the local. Did you like how quickly I said that? I almost said it with a good accent, but not quite. Okay. And we can tell that Samantha's cheering for a team. I am cheering for the third team, Samantha. So the shows are going to go every day at, this doesn't seem right to me. Is this right? Because they're going to start at 2 p.m. my time, which is 2 hours after the usual What If Wednesday time. Can somebody check on this? And yeah, the games are really fast. Go Aussies. Okay. Let's double check this. But the show is gonna start in the Discord on the hour after the last match of the evening. And I know that's gonna be a little late for UK and European folk. And it's gonna be perfect if you're in New Zealand. And I think Australia, most coasts are gonna be okay. But I thought about trying to do it at the midpoint between the 2 block of games, and it's just a terrible time. It's a terrible time. Everybody will be at work, and let's face it, you're gonna be going into work late every day because it's gonna be Olympic hangover for 2 weeks. That's the most important. And okay, so I did do it right. Okay, 'cause I usually say 1800? Okay. Yeah, it's 10 PM in Europe. It's gonna be late, but that's when the matches are ending in Paris. Like, that's how they're scheduling them. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Okay? It's not how I do it. But I would love to see you there. The discussions are great. I will be recording them to make sure that there's a possibility of looking at these things, but obviously I can't publish them publicly because the IOC will scrape content and they will see it and they will take it down. So there you go. Yes, the first game is 10 a.m. on Saturday, or could be Sunday if you're one of our New Zealand or Australian friends. And that is 2 a.m. for me. I got up at 4 a.m. today, so I'm starting to graduate back. Did I learn French? Je parle français parce que je suis canadienne. So I did French in junior high and high school, so I know a little bit. And I'm sure that just by watching the Olympic coverage, it's all gonna come flooding back to me, and I'm gonna be speaking a lot more of it. But I really enjoyed. I was umpiring at I was umpiring in Antwerp. So not only do the Belgians, many of them speak French, and many of them speak Flemish, and I think their team language is often French, not always, but the language in which the coach communicates, or it's English. It's one of the two. Anyway, so I'm umpiring, and the Belgians, I could understand them, and the French were playing, and I could understand them too. And I was having little conversations with them because I spoke enough. And it's, you know, and I'm not talking to them really on the pitch about that, but I was making jokes about, the ball kids at some point being really cute. And I said it in French, and the left defender was like, hee hee hee. And, they are sweet, and, stuff like that. And you can have those little moments of building rapport. And then the Spanish team was there too, and I was speaking a little bit of Spanish with them. So anyway, you can do these little things quietly on the side to just show a little bit of empathy and humanity. So there you go. Anyway, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. What else was this? Oh yes, I wanted to follow up last week's whistle code. It was a big hit. I look, I don't know if you got the newsletter that I sent out earlier today. I included this as a download. I modified it a little bit, and I still gotten shit for the end of time whistle. You guys, I don't care about the end of time whistle. I do not care. It doesn't matter if you blow a loop-de-loop-de, blah, 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 as long as it's just very distinctive from a free hit or a penalty corner, as long as it's not just a single short blast or a long blast, and it doesn't sound like any of these other things, as long as it's not those, you're good to go. So get on with your bad self and blow it however you want. I should have just taken it off. I should just do that. Bonjour to you too. And it's a drive-by like and replay. There you go. Okay. Oh, what? Okay, the last thing I was gonna do that was this. We reached over 5,000 followers on Instagram. That's cool. And it's all because of those crazy reels that I did a little while back. That seems to have, like, I don't know, it's turned the tide, and it's really nice. So apparently I have to do more reels. I have to do more reaction reels. Who knows? Anyway, that's fun. Let's go on, because time's a wasting. How about some aerials? God.
Came firmly back in the melting pot after that Belgium goal. Germany's still leading, but it's not looking particularly comfortable. And Belgium have got a penalty corner out of that.
tunes. Right then, I am not giving anything away. I want to see what y'all pick up on. So keep watching the replay and go on with that. Their French is more like Shakespearean English. You need to get your ear in, says the Swiss guy. Do you speak French in Switzerland? You do, don't you? Yes, it's not the same French as Quebecois French, but we learn Parisian French for some reason. Probably because the rest of Canada still doesn't like Quebec. Quebec. I can understand Quebecois French. I just can't speak it without getting made fun of. Hard to say. Okay, I'm waiting for the stream to catch up because I don't want to. I hope it's very clear to everybody that there's a free hit that's awarded outside of the circle around the 5-meter dotted line right there. And that's a free hit that's taken on the aerial. Okay. Just throwing it out there. Are we all clear? Making sure that we all believe. Do we believe? I mean, I'm waiting. I am not moving on. I am not going to say anything until I know. But you know what I will do? I'll press a button. If you're getting value out of this presentation, please do. Like and subscribe because it tells other people, it tells YouTube that other people that are just like you would also like this stuff. It's a free hit defense all day as a former goalkeeper. Why? What's the reasoning? It looks like the red guy just misses the ball. He does miss the ball, doesn't he? That's important. Ah, and the Chief Penet comes through. Hold the phone. The ball is playable inside the D. So the ball has been played directly into the D. There you go. Martin, you were right there. You also get a DJ reference. I can't not give that one to you. That's fabulous. So well done, Ingrid. If the defender had touched the ball, it would mean the ball would not have gone into the circle without going 5 feet. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay. It's so hard because you're focused on the receiving area in terms of the distances that the players are at. Missing this little detail can absolutely happen to all of us. So very important for you to have that, like, watch this a few times. Try this the next time if this is happening at your level. I don't know, it doesn't happen at my level, trust me. But if there was an aerial that if players are throwing aerials over the circle in order to try to hit the open wing attackers on a semi-regular basis or ever, prep this. Is it playable inside the circle? Can't be playable inside the circle. Scott, defender in the circle, could have played the ball. Yep. There you go. Nope. Nope, that's not the problem. That's what was called, but that's not the problem. Because the problem that happens first is that the ball is played directly into the circle because it's legally playable inside the circle. There you go. Can't see anything wrong from the defender. Right, order is important. So just like we were talking about with that 5-meter infringement video that took way too long, is that you have to have these things in order. So the defender can't infringe on the attacker's 5 meters, but for the ball being played in that fashion first. Okay, you see it now. Okay, brilliant. Unless you're talking about once it past the defender. Yeah, they're super quick. They're super quick, and they've had a lot of years of experience in watching these streams, especially Simon. Very loyal. Let me take a look at the poll and just see if it does, but it's playable. It doesn't have to be played. It just has to be playable. Okay? That's the key. And yeah, it goes over his head, but his stick is over his head too. Can I put the rule book up? Sure, let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, look at this. Mm. Okay, here it is. It is permitted to play the ball high above the attacking circle so it lands outside the circle, subject to the rules related to dangerous play, and that the ball is not legitimately playable inside or above the circle by another player during its flight. So definitely playable. Okay. Let's see if this works. Does everybody see it, or do I need to circle it? There it is. It's this part here. Playable. Legitimately playable. Could that player have made contact with the ball? Yes. Excellente. Um, and now I need to know where to go back to. Let's just start the next one here.
Nicely brought down. Another penalty corner. Another penalty corner.
So one, is the ball playable even if Belgium cannot reach the ball? We're talking about the possibility legitimately playable. So our I can hear the slow-mo going. The audio. So legitimately playable means that he can reach that ball. And in that context he could. It's reachable. Circle the player who could legitimately play the ball. Okay. Um, 3-8. This show's going overtime, friends. You're killing me. You're killing me. Oh, let me do it in slow-mo. It'll be easier. Sorry, the frame rate and everything is really terrible. It is this guy. And at some point you actually see the ball. Right there. Okay? And I know it's not right there, but it's playable. Okay. Let's go back to B.
Nicely brought down. Another penalty corner.
Yeah, we're back to
Another
Spain,
penalty
Belgium.
corner.
This was a slobber knocker. This was just ridiculous. Okay. Yes, he could. I'm good. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, Stephen. Phase 2 breakdown. He's saying, where's the oh, are you kidding me? Okay. That's your vote. Let's see what happens. And yeah. Oh, yeah. It was definitely that game. Okay. And if that's your judgment in the moment, that's your judgment. That's not how I see it. What's it? Oh, okay. I'm going back to it because it's gonna bug me. What is interesting about this situation is that this player is also trying not to infringe 5 meters. He could take 2 steps this way and get right to the edge of the circle, and then he could reach that ball. But he's worried about infringing 5 meters. So you're going to penalize him for not infringing the 5 meters and trying not to infringe the 5 meters for a ball that is legitimately playable. And it doesn't mean that he has to play it. It doesn't mean that he has to see it. Okay. It's just got to be playable by somebody. And he shows that he's close enough to it that that is playable. Okay, let's move on to this one. Oh, that player is probably going to get the PC instruction from the bench. Tech table, as I'm sure, was completely on top of it. So there you go. 19 red did not allow the player, the ball to be controlled before coming in. Is that why it's the PC? Is it? Yeah. Feds definitely deserved a beer. It was like, it was a snapback. All right. Oh, what if I told you, friends, that there is another possibility here? Because when you're watching that second defender, okay? Well, there's two defenders here. Let's really slow it down. Okay. So this is number 19, okay? And we're going to call her the first defender, and then this is the second defender, which is number 5. Okay? Now, as the ball is being controlled right here, this is not 5 meters. That is what we call a phase 1 breakdown. Not allowing the ball to be controlled, number 5, would be a phase 2 breakdown. But I believe that the control was achieved enough for an attacker inside the circle, which we've talked about repeatedly, repeatedly. And yeah, it's definitely a penalty corner. Absolutely true. And Anik is asking, is there a penalty stroke possible? Yes, it's possible. It's possible. And what you have to determine is whether this player right here has good wherewithal to, do they have all the vision that they need to know how close they are to that player? And it's a bit difficult because the ball is coming over her head as it's coming through. So if I back it up just a little bit, okay. So the ball's coming over her head, and she may, you know, track and go, oh, I'm within 5, but she doesn't have a lot of time to back up or do anything different. So I would say that you could go with a penalty stroke, but I think that might be a little bit hard. We're looking for defenders who fully are aware of where that receiving area is, where that receiving attacker is, where the initial receiver is, and then are coming to infringe upon it in that moment. Ooh, sorry. I need to get that. There we go. So when is the ball under control? Alan, you've missed a lot of live streams lately. I'm, I don't mean to be, calling you out, but maybe you've missed a few where we've talked about aerials into the circle and when a player has control of the ball when they're receiving inside the circle. Okay. What I want to bring your attention to, you can argue that the second defender comes in too soon. I don't believe she does, in my estimation, because of what attackers are able to do with the ball. They don't have to have the control to be able to pass or pinpoint. They can shoot from a half volley or even before the ball's landed. Thank you, Zach Wallace, for showing us that that is absolutely possible. And they can take it on that bounce and they can play it into a player's foot. They can play it as a shot on goal. So our definition of control on an attacker receiving inside the circle is different. And Alan, like I mentioned last week and the week before and the week before that, this is going to be looked at after the Olympics are over. So whichever way they go with it, maybe they take away the ability to aerial into the circle altogether. Maybe they enshrine this attacking control notion somehow in a italicized guideline inside the rules. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I know what I would do, but I don't know what they're going to do. Okay. And Simon, at your level, this is an aerial thrown to a crowd of players, but it's not your level. Yeah. And I think that it's a fine line between a clear initial receiver who's the attacker back on that back line who's receiving over her head and the defender who's in front who turns and then infringes the 5 meters there. And whether that's, we're not painting the 5-meter disc, right? And I know you know this concept because I've said it many, 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 many times. But that is there. Defender 1 doesn't disadvantage the attacker, maybe not in your estimation, but the umpire there clearly sees it as that being that. What is about 4? Yeah, there you go. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm getting right or somebody else is getting right, but I'll take it. I'll take it. And the aerial control by the attacker is quite exceptional. Okay. Should I go to the poll? I don't know what I'm going to see. I don't know what I'm going to see. We had a free hit defense 14 on the previous one, and 1 wanted a PC, and I bet that was unique. And then on this play, it's a lot more difficult. Penalty corner for 8 of you. 5 of you want to play on because you don't see the disadvantage by the first defender, and that's okay. It's a flat angle. It's really difficult for us to see it. And then a free hit defense for probably no clear initial receiver. And 1 person wanting that to be intentionally called. That's a tough one, hey? That's a tough one. And I hope the discussion has just brought about some points for you. It's not about getting it right or wrong. It's about us processing the information the same way. And what I try to get back to is if I see a fact that is clear, like I'll go back and I'll get quite insistent on that, like I did on the legitimately playable inside the circle. If it's something like this where you're thinking, I don't see any disadvantage from the first defender infringing and the second defender does fine, and so that's that's a play on situation for me, that's okay because the facts are unclear with the angle that we have. Right. I'm not going to be able to do our skill session today. Just saying.
Well, the umpire has pointed to the penalty spot. There it goes.
This is another one I'm going to completely wait on. Do, 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 do. There should be music, but it gets in the way of repurposing. So I'm not playing it. Okay. There we go, friends. I'm looking forward to your thoughts. Simon, I said that. You're seeing his comment later and then you're replying to it. I don't know what she means. Does that mean, oh my goodness? Or for sure? Or does that mean yes? Or does that mean no? That's Dutch for something and I don't know what it is. You gotta help me out here, sister. I need a little more help. So let's see if we can agree upon some facts at this point. Right? We have an attempted interception. Let me just wait until I get into this. Okay, the ball is, I don't know, maybe it's here. I don't know. So hard to tell. That isn't the ball. Who knows where the ball is? Give me better than 25 frames per second, people. Oh, there it is. There's the ball. Okay. Now, initial receiver is the attacker. Okay. Player attempting an interception is here. What is the distance between that? Can everybody tell me? Okay. And don't just say that because of who's umpiring. Okay. We have to be impartial all the time. And let's see. Oops. Paul, the free hit comes from outside the 23, though. So we're not worried about that. Oh, it's cheering. Okay. Got it. Did both run in? Is asking Ingrid. Okay. So this is an attempted interception that I think we can all agree is not outside of 5 meters. It's inside 5 meters. Okay. And what we have to determine at this moment is this player allowed to try to intercept? The player's allowed to intercept within playing distance as long as it's safe. Sorry. Inside 5 meters, outside of playing distance, as long as it's safe. So the ball is about down at this point. Do I have it? Yeah. Okay. So he's received the ball. So his stick comes out to about there, and there's Spanish player's stick there. So is there any danger? No, there's no danger. Okay. And then is there any playing distance? Is this interception within this player's playing distance? When his stick is out, and let's see if I can zoom in really well on this very, very blurry, pixelated. Trust me. Okay. Ball. Okay. Ball goes by the player's stick. So that's where the playing is happening. So is this interception within the playing distance? I don't think so. Now, we get onto the issue that if a player attempts to intercept the ball within 5 meters and misses it, should they be called for an infringement? Should they be called for infringing on 5 meters? And this is a discussion that we've had a few times. And I'm going to put up my hand and say that now that I've had more conversations with umpires who are going to Paris, who are in Paris right now, who are going to be umpiring in the Olympic Games, and a few more conversations with people in my community as well. Thank you, Mike McDowell. That missing of the interception means that there is a 5-meter infringement. Now, are we going to impart a level of intentionality to that infringement? Because what he's attempting to do is intercept the ball. And if you're allowed to try to intercept the ball within 5 meters, but not dangerously and outside of playing distance, if you miss it, do you then get penalized for being reckless as to the result of breaking down play? I think no. That those are two incongruous, those two things can't coexist. You can't allow interceptions to be attempted and then say, but if you attempt it, then and you miss it, then you're penalized for an intentional foul. Because that means every time you miss an interception that's within 5 meters, but outside playing distance and not dangerous, it's going to be a card. It's going to be a penalty corner outside the circle and a penalty stroke inside the circle. Right? Not just you, friend, but I've tried to clean it up in Final Cut Pro. That's okay. We can't see where the defender is when the ball is 20 meters away. Luckily, it doesn't, Sarah, that it doesn't really turn on this. We know the initial receiver is the attacker. Okay, or just assume that. Just roll with me. Roll with me on this. For Simon, it looks like it's outside playing distance. Yeah. I agree. Hi, Justin. You missed the previous streams, but the defender looks like they are outside the playing distance, even though it is within 5. Doesn't create danger. So for you, it's phase 1, and for phase 1, it seems fine to you, except that it is a 5-meter infringement. So this is something that I had to work on and wrap my head around, because I don't like the idea that we penalize lack of skill. But on the other hand, I was persuaded by a number of people that the 5-meter infringement still has to hold some water, especially because it will disadvantage. You can see that attacker then, as they're bringing the ball down, they now have to contend with a player who is disadvantaging them. Now, if you can play an advantage off this kind of missed interception that's within 5 meters, but it's safe and outside playing distance, then go on with your bad self and play advantage. If the opportunity that the attacker has in that moment is better than the penalty corner that you should be awarding, then go on. But he doesn't have that. He's stuck on the back line. He doesn't have a great angle. It's tough for him to bring the ball down when he's got the player in front of him and the player is right there, and it's like visual stuff. I mean, I'm not there. Oh no, there's a clear receiver. There's a clear receiver. Yeah. Phase 2 would have been interesting to see. Well, and I think the phase 2 infringement definitely would have been there. And then Justin, what's interesting is if you go back in 2 weeks ago on the stream, we talk about this new guidance that's come out about phase 2 infringements and how they are rarely going to be penalized as intentional. I don't like that myself. So, Jonathan, you see it as 2 to 3 meters. So PC, but why penalty stroke? Coming in from that position means that you would have to bend it like Beckham. Scoring from that position. It's not about whether it's a scoring opportunity. Jonathan. 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 Oh my goodness. Jonathan. Is this going to work? 12.4B. for an intentional offense in the circle. Let me just read like this. By a defender. Oops. I blocked the view. Oh, why is it on that camera? That's dumb. That's not what I asked for. Huh. Camera D, camera C. This is weird. Camera B. This isn't supposed to be camera B. This is supposed to be camera A. So sorry. Why is everything effed up? Thank you. Hi. Intentional offense inside the circle by a defender against an opponent who has possession of the ball or an opportunity to play the ball. It says nothing about a scoring opportunity. That is the biggest, one of the biggest urban myths, legends, etc. about the rules that should drive all of us bunkas. And yes, it feels like a contradiction. So I do not see this as a penalty stroke. And the umpire was itching to make a decision. Okay, I wouldn't be all like, you're we're not going to penalize, we're not going to say that an umpire should sit there and only when they've given it considered thought is their penalty stroke decision going to be legitimate, because we want umpires to make good, quick decisions. This is a decision that I just don't agree with myself, but that doesn't mean that she should have taken more time to make it. Not at all. And yeah, you don't miss deliberately. So a penalty corner, not a penalty stroke. Now, I want to be clear on this, because the notion of reckless as to the result of breaking down play is a concept that I really, really push hard and try to get hammered into your brains. That if a player fouls in a position where they're attempting a tackle, that it's a high risk they're not going to make it. And they're doing so in a way that, you know what, I'd rather give up the free hit than just let this player go unimpinged. I'm just so I can get all my players back and all that kind of stuff. That is reckless as the result of breaking down play, even if they don't mean to commit the foul. So I want to be really careful that we're not slipping back into that here. So I do want to distinguish this as, is this reckless? Should this defender not try to intercept this ball because it's reckless as the result? And I think that is overly harsh, because we saw interceptions like this get pulled off quite well. I've seen them at, I wouldn't say dozens of times, but I'd say double digits. And all they have to do is deflect the ball. All they have to do is get a touch that moves it, and maybe it goes off and okay, well, now we can start having arguments about whether that's intentionally played off the back line. Let's not do that. Juan, shall we say it's an unsafe interception? Why shall we? Just to throw it out there? What's unsafe about it? I don't see any legitimate evasive action by the attacking player. And I've seen many interception attempts that are within playing distance and are dangerous, where the initial receiver goes, because they don't know where that ball's going to end up. It's going to get deflected into their face, etc. This is not one of those occasions. The attacker is able to take the ball and there is no evasive action at all. This is not dangerous. So we shall not say that. And Matt agrees it's not intentional. Kathy, hi. If inside the 5 meters, is the defender actually aware of the attacker? That's the other thing, is that if the defender is looking for the ball and is trying to reach up, and they're trying to intercept as best they can, do they know how close they are to the attacker behind them? Can we construe that as reckless? Does he have a really good sense of how far away the back line is and all that kind of stuff? That's a really good point. I like that, Firthy. Thank you. Bit of overreading. It looked fine until the red player appears to obstruct after the ball is played down safely. Well, and that is, I think, if you're going to call this, if we're going to call the interception down because he misses it, and then it becomes a 5-meter infringement that is disadvantageous, then it's a penalty corner for me. Okay, so I see where we're, like this. God, this stuff is hard, isn't it? It's really hard. Uh-huh. I need all the gin. Please, express deliver some gin to my desk right now. Yeah, and the attempt is there. Oh, and you think you would have ordered a penalty stroke. Okay. Not many people are, like, jumping to the penalty stroke. Like, most people err on the side of caution there. Um, safe and safe. Yeah, but so, Firthy, I don't know if you were in that point when I was laboriously trying to explain an argument that I've struggled to come to terms with myself about how an otherwise safe and outside playing distance interception, but that is within 5 meters. If it's missed, you then have a 5-meter infringement. And that needs to be called unless you can play advantage. Whoa. Are we really? Okay. Let's look at the poll, and then I just have one more clip, and we're not gonna skill session because it's a good thing I didn't tell Paul that I was gonna do a skill session topic idea. Oh, I can see votes changing for ones there. Wait, here we are. Free hit defense for no initial receiver from 1 voter, play on for 4 people. Penalty corner for 8 and a penalty stroke for 2. Okay. And again, have we worked through the principles enough? We're going to keep working through them. The watch parties that I'm going to be doing during the Olympics and the clips, I'm sure there's going to be like dozens of aerial clips. There's going to be 2 a day. How about I confine myself to 2 a day? And we will need to look at this very much because the last few weeks of the last month of the pro league leading up and watching the different umpires coming together, they weren't always on the same page. And I hope in Paris they have had the time in their warm up camp to get more on the same page about how they're going to apply things. But it's always going to be fraught. It's going to be difficult. And so I'm sure we're going to be talking about a lot more. So it's a really good opportunity to keep working through these things because I need practice at explaining it, and y'all need practice at listening to me explain it. No, I'm just kidding. You need practice at watching and applying the things that we're talking about over and over again. We're getting our reps by watching and discussing, even when we don't get the reps on the field. As Simon was saying, this doesn't happen in his matches, doesn't happen in mine either. I do not get the chance to practice this at the level that I now umpire at. Just isn't there. So there you go. Okay. That's fair. And yeah, don't forget that thing. That thing. But last clip, it's not an aerial clip, but it's kind of, just it's the penalty stroke that happens right after.
Oh. Oh dear. Oh, it's going to be a retake. She's going to give a retake. And Lewis Wiltshire is striding forward again.
Any guesses as to why the retake was awarded? Did I slow it down enough? Let me know your thoughts. What is just to provide some more color on this is that the player who missed the stroke stepped up and retook it and scored. But the replays of the second stroke showed us the behind the goal angle. and you got to see how the goalkeeper moved. Now everybody's starting to, this is good. Goalkeeper moved before the ball was played. Keeper moved off the line, moved early. Yes. And so I thought, and as you watch the second stroke attempt, it's less obvious than this, but the keeper does move early again. But because the player scores, it's like, it's fine. It would have been interesting if the player hadn't scored, what the umpire could have decided in that point. And if you remember the European Championship final last year, go back and search for it. I'll try to pin it in one of these places over there in the cards, where we had goalkeeper moving off the line early and then another referral right after that deemed not to move early. But if it happens a second time, what do you do as an umpire? And I think the rules back you up quite strongly that if it happens a second time, that just re-awarding the penalty stroke is not sufficient and that a personal penalty has to be applied. Okay. Oh, it's intentional. Actually, I think he has 2 feet off the line at that point. Yeah, sorry. It's been a long stream. But I wanted to show you this because I thought this was an excellent spot by the umpire. Just nailed it, pegged it, and it was just sort of one of those things where, she's about to turn and she's going, no, 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 wait a minute. And no, I'm not going to award a stroke that way. I got to award it that way. And she's, because you're so used to that pattern of movement where you face the central, pardon me, the central line and give your signal again. So that was really done, really well done. Definitely Killiar. Sorry. And it's still going. I know. Card the keeper. Yes, that's exactly what you do, Ingrid, is you card the keeper. Yep. It's a personal penalty. It's not a captain penalty. It's not a pick another player penalty. It's not ice hockey. It is card the keeper. And I know that seems like at levels that we play at, but it means that if there's not another kitted goalkeeper, that they're playing without, and they're playing with only field players. Or, yeah, they jump in the second goalie. Yeah. Should be a card and you're a goalkeeper occasionally. Yeah, the definitely the second time. The first time, it's a may, and then after that, it's a should. Yeah, absolutely right, Tom. Hi, have we met? I don't know. Nice to see you. Okay. What color? Says Anik. I'm just waiting for it to pop up. And yep, fantastic call. And what color? I think that depends on the level. Because the degree of impact, I think you can make an argument either way. I think you just have to feel it out. Well, greens are about things on purpose too. So I don't like this any, automatic defaulting to yellow just because you see it and it's obvious. So a yellow because a player intentionally plays the ball with their body by sticking a foot in the way. The yellow that we just saw, it seems like yesterday now in this stream, absolutely spot on because of the impact, the time of the game. The RI, no, the DI, no, the I, just the I of the RDI was absolutely there. But it doesn't mean that any time a player ever sticks out their foot and plays the ball, just because you see it, like, good job, that doesn't mean you turn off and automatically yellow card the player. That's one of the biggest misconceptions about carding that I hear from lower levels because that was just the tradition. Phew! Where are we at, friends? Where are we at? I think that is a very solid effort. Can you still have a field player with a helmet, or do you need to fully kit a player? You cannot put a player, there is no kicking back available. So you can't have a player in a different colored shirt who puts a helmet on for the penalty corner or penalty stroke. That doesn't exist. That is no longer in the rules. And if a goalkeeper gets suspended, the game will not be held up for another player to don the goalkeeper equipment. Now, if you red card a goalkeeper, for example, and it's early enough in the game, you might want their stuff to be donned by another field player. And so if it takes them 3, 4, 5 minutes to put on the equipment, they can then be subbed into the game and a field player taken off. And then they're still playing with that player disadvantage. But there you go. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would edge towards yellow all the time, but that's because I don't see this happening at lower levels very often. So I don't have a good feel. If there isn't a second goalie in the retake, if there isn't a second goalkeeper, then a field player can go and defend. But they only defend as a field player. Okay. Wow. I'm wrought. I haven't done a 2-hour stream for a very long time. But just a reminder, just a reminder, okay? This gets going, and this What If Wednesday, I mean, maybe I had to make it super long because depending on what I want to do with the Wednesday after the Olympics, you may not want to hear from me. I may do a presentation again, a What If Wednesday that's in the server so that I can show things from the Olympics, or I may do a What If Wednesday where I just talk a lot. I don't think anybody wants to sit and stare at only my face for an hour. Like, that's torture. Nobody wants that in their lives. So this might be the last What Up Wednesday for at least 3 weeks, if not longer, because as many of you know, at the end of August, I am going to be vamooshing. I will be heading abroad for a work abroad program, 1 year, starting in the UK and jetting wherever I can go. I'll pop up to Scotland. Hopefully I'll head over to Ireland as well. I have to talk to like Ali and Rob and stuff and see if I can get something hooked up with them. And then moving elsewhere around the world. New Zealand confirmed for the end of February for 3 months, and then I'll pop over to Australia because, like, why not? I've only been to Sydney for like 4 days, so I'd love to see more of Australia and meet lots of folks. So there you are. You've had a green for doing that, and it was completely intentional. Completely intentional can be greens, absolutely. But maybe it had a huge impact, and you know it should be yellow. I'm glad you learned a lot. Yes, enjoy Paris. Holy smokes, that's going to be something else. And you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Ad, you were really quiet today. You didn't chime in on any comments until now, but I'm glad you're here. And you're welcome. Welcome. Glad you enjoyed it, Sarah. Thank you very much. As one of our newest green members, I feted you last week, so there you go. I didn't get away from the pitch, that's for sure. Long story to be told at another time. Thank you very much for joining in, and see you in the server for Parler de Paris.